Like I was in LA for months. Like no one came. Like no one was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you could have came. Like now you want to make it public that you were flying out. That's bullshit. Like no one was getting on that plane.
Oh.
Come on,
man.
We
found out they really didn't care about the boy.
Like, there were guys in LA.
Six is your organization like that.
Say anything.
And just like that, I'm right back. 215 God, yeah, Eldric reacts.
Now, me being an emotional Philadelphia sports team fan, I almost let it get the best of me. You know what I'm saying? We're real passionate about our sports teams. And sometimes it's not fair to the player because at the end of the day, it's just a game. You get paid. They get paid a lot of money for it, but at the end of the day, they're still human beings. They're still human beings. You don't want injury to happen to them. You don't want just tragic things that happen to their families and all that. Some people take sports too serious to where they want something to happen to the actual players in real life outside of it, so because it affects the team. But come on, let's be realistic. When this thing happened with Ben Simmons, I was mad at first. At first, I was one of the ones to quote the great Geechee Gotti. I was like,
"Nigga, you's a bitch, and that's a fact."
But then I had to think about the man outside of the sport. I was like, if he really has some type of mental issues or anything like that, I hope he can get over it. Because, you know, I promote a lot of health is wealth on this channel. Mental health is real. And if he had anything going on with him outside of basketball that affected his life, that comes first. I'm all for putting that's a priority. That comes before anything. If your mental health isn't right, or even your physical health isn't right, everything else doesn't matter. Well, everything else can't function until you get that right. You got to start with home first before you can give to others and give to organizations and give to family. You got to make sure you're right. I never got an explanation, so he finally said something on, what is this, JJ Riddick's podcast, and I want to hear it, man. I got to hear it from his mouth, man. No judgment. Let's go.
You spent I want to talk a little bit about the Hawks series, your last series of playing basketball, but just sort of as like a general sort of overview of spending the basically a year addressing your mental health and sort of going through that process, which is not an easy thing. I've talked about it a ton. I've been through it.
I just want to know what was going on.
It didn't start, I assume, in the Hawks series. But did the events of the Hawks series sort of trigger
like to paint it out that way,
a deepening spiral or whatever was going on? Did it exacerbate the problem?
I think it was like, you know, I'm already dealing with a lot mentally just in life, as a lot of people do. But it got to a point where after that series, I'm getting it's like from the people that you're supposed to have the support from or that, you know, that comfort from. And I wasn't getting that either. So it was just a lot. Man. It was a toll on me. And then mentally, it killed me. I was like, fuck, like no energy for anything. Like I was in a dark place.
Broken down, man.
And it took me a long time. The first thing for me was like really identify like, okay, I got to really, you know, I got to get right. And it's not a physical thing. It's mentally. And just, I think that first thing of acknowledging it is like a huge step for me. And I was like, okay, like I need to address this. I need help in these areas. And being able to do that, that was the start of, you know, getting to where I'm at now. I'm like in a great place and I feel comfortable talking about it now. But those are some dark days for me. And especially, you know, fuck, everything's public. Like that's the crazier part.
I can only imagine.
But yeah, it's something that's like everyone goes through different struggles. Some bigger than others, but yeah, it's everyone, you know, has their own battles. And I think that was tough for me, just knowing like I didn't really have that support either from teammates or whatever it was at that time.
No, call it like it is. Let's call it like it is. Yeah. And you know that I love Joel and you know that I love Doc, but like they essentially threw you under the bus after Game 7. Like that's indisputable.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you know, both of you guys, doesn't it just objectively make sense that when you're in a work situation like that, no matter what it is, you would want to leave? Like, I don't know what job you're in where that kind of thing happens, where you would not want to look to do something different. You wouldn't want to just like opt right back into that situation after that kind of thing happens. It feels like everybody should want that. And I understand the dynamics of the NBA and the value of a player like you and everything like that. It's not going to happen overnight.
I mean, you know that athletes aren't human beings, man. We don't operate the same way.
And I think that was a part of it too. Like people like, well, let's take his money. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the money. Like I don't care about the money. It's not about the money for me now. Like I want peace and happiness. Like I want to be in a good place. And that,
no average
that
Joe
cost me whatever it's going to cost.
Right,
Like, that's what it costs.
My
like
job or whatever.
My peace is more valuable than money.
I don't know the inner workings of everything. Why did you come back for 2 days of practice?
Because I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to. Which day? Are you talking about the day that I got?
The day you came. My understanding is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, my understanding is there was a trade request at some point before training camp.
Yeah.
You weren't going to come. Then you ended up coming, and you went a couple of days of practice, and then one day Doc kicked you out.
Yeah.
And you were texting, probably some girl.
No. Hold on. So
I might have made that last part up.
So people made that up too.
He make it up.
I had my jersey in my pocket, in my sweatpant pocket. So they thought it was a phone. I don't know how they thought it was a phone, but that's what that situation was. To clear that up.
Okay. So why did you?
Because I was trying to do the right thing, at least, like do right by whatever the fuck the team, my teammates, whatever whoever it is, but trying to do the right thing, and I just was not in that place to play. Like I wasn't. Like I just couldn't do it.
And this is real, man.
Getting kicked out of that practice that day, I actually spoke to Doc
superhuman, man.
Before practice. I was like, Doc, I'm not ready. Like, mentally, I'm not ready. Please just understand that. I tried to let him know prior. And he's like, well, I'm gonna put you in anyway. I'm like, all right. Told me to get in. I was like, I looked at him like, it was like 1 minute into practice. Like, man, get in. I'm like, first of all, no one's doing that. You're doing this on purpose. And that's how I felt too. I was like, okay, so it seems like everyone's just trying to fuck with me now. Like I'm getting fined for like not lifting weights, but physically I'm like one of the strongest guys on the fucking team. So I'm like, now they're finding me for little things, and it was just a buildup of.
They don't care about you personally.
Obviously, I didn't handle things the right way, but also the team didn't either, and the people who had that power. But
what's the word? I think it's irreconcilable differences when they talk about a divorce. There's not one thing. It's just a buildup of things. Is that sort of how you would describe those 5 or 6 months or whatever it was, 3-4 months, I guess, because it was a longer season because of the COVID stuff. So it wasn't that long of a gap between the Hawks series and training camp. But is that sort of what it was?
Yes and no. Like for me, I was trying to, for myself personally, get to a good place, like to get back on the floor. So it was never even like getting on the floor was my priority, and trying to get myself to a place where I was mentally good to do that. And I was in such a bad place where I was like, fuck, like I'm trying to get here and you guys are like throwing all these other things at me to where you're not helping. And that's all I wanted was help. I didn't feel like I got it from coaches, teammates. I won't say all teammates, because I had these great guys on that team that, did reach out, that, still my friends. But I didn't feel like I got that. And it was just a tough place for me.
Is that a, we've talked about how this is what you signed up for to a certain extent, so the union you're gonna have to deal with. But I just am thinking about this putting myself in your shoes for a second of like when this kind of thing is happening, and we've talked about all these sort of reports that have come out that haven't been true and everything like that, but it feels like it's a cascading thing where what makes this different, to my point earlier about most jobs, is everything is public and you have no way to respond. So they could say like, everyone flew out to your house in LA and you said, fuck off, I'm calling the cops on you and stuff like that. And what are you going to do? You can't respond to every single thing. That
I forgot that happened.
But that's all. Yeah. It's like so many things happen and people don't really realize like, that's not the truth. Like you guys were going to fly out. Now you want to fly out to the end of when training camp's about to start. Like I was in LA for months. Like no one came. Like no one was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you could have came. Like now you want to make it public that you were flying out. That's bullshit. Like no one's getting on that plane.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Like, they really didn't care about the boy.
Like, there were guys in LA
that didn't organization like that
say anything to me. So
this is y'all guy. This is y'all.
That's irrelevant to me. Like there was a lot of things that were just getting put out, like that shouldn't have been put out. And
that's dirty.
Those people know.
I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty dirty.
Who they are.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify.
Wow, man. So they actually it's almost like they fake cared about Ben Simmons, man. And you can't do that. If somebody, it's not even like, I know I've said it's your main guy, you should care about him, but you should care about all the players like that, man. If you're a team, let's be a real team. Like, when we on the court, we doing our work, that's fine. But don't make me just be a uniform and a person that's dribbling a basketball. I'm a human being at the end of the day. If I'm going through something and I express it to you, it's one thing if I don't say anything. But if I actually express it to you and I say I'm not ready and you try to force me to do something I'm not ready to do, chaos. Straight chaos. I see why he had to go. Time is something you can never have back, but you spend your time with me, so I appreciate you for that. Subscribe to Eldric Reacts. You almost at 200 subscribers. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at Eldric Reacts. At Eldric Reacts. That's just in case you're not a YouTube person, maybe you're just on social media. You can go to Eldric Reacts on Instagram. Follow 215_God on Instagram. That links you to everything. That's my main joint. Is 215_God. You want to follow that on Instagram as well. On Facebook, Eldric Valentine Music. We on TikTok at 215_God. Look, we everywhere. Music coming soon. Listen, man. Stay tuned, baby. Just stay tuned. We gonna be ready. It's gonna be there for you. If I'm here, you're there. Shit, we gonna be there together. We going to the moon. I promise. Even though promise something, we go. Let's go. Bye.